Dear students, welcome back to the course Teaching of Mathematics. This video lesson is about the nature of mathematics. To begin with, I will share with you the learning outcomes of this video lesson. By the end of this video lesson, students will be able to describe what is mathematics, discuss their beliefs about mathematics, explain how mathematicians work, synthesize views of mathematicians and mathematics educators about doing mathematics, analyze how beliefs regarding mathematics and mathematics teaching correlate with instructional practice. Now we will discuss what mathematics is. Before answering this question together, I would like you to share individually what do you perceive mathematics is. Take a minute and write down your perspective about what is mathematics. Your perspective can be put into two groups. Keeping in view the way mathematics has been taught in Pakistani schools, which is based on memorization of various math facts, procedures and formulas, and then using formulas to solve word problems, most probably you may have written that mathematics is a static body of facts, procedures and formulas. Your view of mathematics as a static body of facts, procedures and formulas is quite justified because that is the phase of mathematics you are familiar with. There is another perspective about mathematics which views mathematics as a dynamic field involving exploration, patterns and logical reasoning. This perspective suggests that students are engaged in doing mathematics rather than memorizing mathematical procedures, formulas to solve textbook problems. The mathematics education reforms in the Western world has made an attempt to shift students' perspectives from mathematics as a static body of facts, procedures and concepts to mathematics as a dynamic field involving exploration, patterns, forming mental images, and logical reasoning. Let me give you an example of forming mental images. Have a look at the number 2 times 3 times 5. Think for a while what comes to your mind when you see this number. You might think that you will multiply 3 by 5 and then by 2, or you will multiply 2 by 3 and then by 5, or you will multiply 5 by 3 and then by 2. Whatever way you multiply these three numbers, you will come up with the number 30. But for a mathematician, 2 times 3 times 5 is a number as it is. He may form mental image of this number. He may decide to use a cube to form a mental image. This is a unit cube because its length, width and height is 1 unit, say a centimeter. Now a mathematician will make a mental representation of 2 times 3 times 5, and for this purpose he will use a rectangular prism. If you look at this prism, this has height of 2 units, its width is 3 cubic units and its length is 5 cubic units. Now we can cut this prism into 2 layers. Now this layer is 3 times 5. Now if we cut this layer further into 3 rows, each row have 5 cubic units. So this is one group of 5 cubic units, and in each group, in each row basically there are 5 cubic units. Similarly, we can cut this layer into 3 rows, and again in each row we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubic units. So basically what we are saying is this is 3 times 5, or 3 groups of 5 cubic units, and this is another set of 3 groups of 5 cubic units. So we have got 2 sets of 3 groups of 5 cubic units. So basically this represents 2 times 3 times 5. In other words, we can say that the prism is made up of 2 groups of 3 groups of 5 cubes, which is 2 times 3 times 5. Another mental representation of the same number, 2 times 3 times 5, could be like 3 times 2 times 5, and we can use again the same rectangular prism. Now this rectangular prism can be cut into 3 slices vertically, like here, here, and we have 3 pieces now. Now each slice is 2 times 5, 2 times 5. So we have got 3 times 2 times 5. So this is another mental image of the same number. So here is another mental image of the same number, if you remember, which was 2 times 3 times 5. Now we can rearrange it, and we can go for 5 times 2 times 3. So again a mathematician would use a rectangular prism, and you would see that its height again is 2, width is 3, and its length is 5 units. Now we can divide this cube into 5 pieces. So we can make one cut here, one cut here, one cut here, and one cut here, and we will have 5 slices. Now each slice is 2 times 3. So this is 2 times 3, this is 2 times 3, but in all of these are 5 times 2 times 3. So this is another mental image of the problem of the number 2 times 3 times 5. In order to be considered a language, a system of communication must have vocabulary, grammar, syntax, and people who use and understand it. Mathematics meets this condition of a language. Mathematics meets this definition of a language. Here is an example of mathematical language. So A plus B plus C, A plus B is equal to C, and this is read as A added to B equals C. Mathematics is a universal language. It helps people learn and communicate even if other communication barriers exist. The Italian astronomer and physicist Galileo is attributed with the quote, "Mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe." Mathematics grammar and syntax, like vocabulary, are international. No matter what country you are from or what language you speak, the structure of mathematical language is the same. Now I would like to present the summary of today's video lesson. So far in this lesson we have discussed what is mathematics, and we have seen two different perspectives that people have about mathematics. We have discussed one example of forming mental images. We have also explored why mathematics qualify to be a language, and we have briefly discussed correlation between teacher beliefs about mathematics and teaching mathematics and their classroom practices. In Google Classroom, there are some readings which are in PDF format. One of those readings is a compulsory reading. You are advised to complete reading the documents which are mentioned under the topic Introduction to the Course Teaching of Mathematics in Google Classroom. Thank you very much.